You know, you look at the biography of the guy, and there's nothing wrong with being a documentary filmmaker. I love documentaries, but he is a documentary filmmaker, a former House aide. There's so much value placed on ties to business in those kind of districts that if he had a little bit of private sector experience that felt relatable, I think it would help him. It would have helped him a lot. Plus, as Jeremy points out, he's not actually from the district, doesn't live there, which has a kind of carpetbagger feel, and it gets reinforced by all this Hollywood money coming in and all the San Francisco money coming in. Again, I think probably he's at this moment, probably a narrow favorite, but there are a lot of ways in which he could be if he was a little bit better suited to the district, I think he would be clearly be able to win this race.
And Nick, I'm only bringing this up because, you know, we're sitting here looking from 40,000 feet and looking at the district, and so often it really is personal.
It's about the candidate.
It's about the candidates, and when you walk in the room, do you relate more to that one or do you relate more to that one? It's one of the first things I saw in politics. You walk into a room and you know immediately, oh, I got these people.
Well, look,
or you walk into a room, as Meek and I have done before, and Meek will whisper to me, Doc, okay? They're
not going to like you.
They're not going to like you, and you just know. And so here, so much of it has to do with just a gut instinct. And so that's why I'm looking at this guy and the pictures and everything else. Might be a wonderful guy, maybe he is a centrist, but I know it's going to be a big leap for a lot of, if they're country club Republicans, certainly hard right Republicans, to vote for Jon Ossoff.
Yeah, and look, I think it points to a bigger problem for Democrats in the upcoming midterms. Look, the base of the Democrats wants a win, but a certain kind of win, right? A win that tells Donald Trump he's losing, that makes them feel that the tide is turning. But in fact, in a lot of these places, the winning message is not going to be like a pure anti-Trump message. It's going to be more of a getting things done message, more of a return to stability and regular order message. And the problem is there's all this money flowing into these races, but they still can't find the best candidates for a lot of these districts. And if they can't recruit the best candidates, they can't retake the House.
So Josh, one of the great things I love that Barack Obama said after the Democrats lost was, he goes, sometimes you go to the counties where you're going to lose by 50, so you only lose by 25, and you start adding that up, and pretty soon you start winning. You don't always go for the grand slam. In this case, if Democrats had a business person that could say, hey, you know me, I got your church, I've been at the Chamber of Commerce for all these years. Those guys in D.C. are just crazy. And, you know, Donald Trump's not getting anything done. The Republicans are like way out there. We need to pave some roads around here. We need to get things working again. We need to get tax cuts for small business owners. That Democrat would be ahead by 25 points right now. But the Democrats in D.C. don't seem to be recruiting those type of candidates right now.
I think they're trying, and I think, just to pick up on what Nick was saying, you're exactly right that the outcome, one of the reasons the outcome of this race is so significant is it certainly will boost Democratic recruitment efforts in congressional districts like this one all across the country. That Ben Ray Lujan and other Washington Democrats can go to people who are thinking about getting in the race and say, even if somebody like Jon Ossoff, who is unquestionably not out of central casting, you're talking about a southern
for this district,
if he can win in these places, then if you have your military background, or if you're a small business owner, you're exactly the kind of person that is out of central casting that can win in this district, and that's why you should run. So that is one of the things I think to look for here, is that Democrats are hoping that this won't just make them feel better in Congress and win them one additional seat. It is going to benefit their recruitment efforts for the next 6 months as they try to build a team that can take the majority in the 2018 midterm.
And I'm so glad you talked about military. Seth Moulton. If Seth Moulton were running in this district, this isn't just about being like just from this district, but if a guy like Seth Moulton were running in this district, somebody with a background like that, then
I don't disagree with this conversation.
They'd be up by 20 points right now.
Yeah. All right. Let's. Bob Costa, you want to chime in?
Joe, just to build on that point, think about when the Democrats took back the House in 2006. How did they do it? Many veterans from the Iraq War won. Right. That's how Pelosi became Speaker, in part because she was able to recruit veterans. But here's the challenge for Democrats, and Ossoff is so revealing of the challenge. In 2010, Democrats were wiped out not only of the U.S. House, but of state legislatures across the country. And that Democratic farm team that 7 years on could have been there to have these candidates who are state reps and state senators. It's not there. It was depleted in 2010. And that's why they don't really have the lawmakers in the states that they could turn to at a potential wave election like this.
That was, Mika, they were wiped out. That is such a great point. They were wiped out in 2010. Those who survived were then wiped out in 2014. You had almost a record-setting landslide on the state and national level, over 700 seats in 2014. So you've got to rebuild the bench.
If Democrats are successful tomorrow, there's still obviously so much work to do still. Let's go to the breaking news.
But it helps, as Josh was saying.
Lucky.
And they will say, and I'm not knocking John Ossoff at all, because if he were running in the Northeast or out West, it would be something completely different. But they will say, if that guy can win in that district,
wow,
you can win in Kansas.
Yeah, I think the other